Welcome to the Creative REI podcast, your go-to hub for all things real estate, business, life, travel, etc. I'm your host, Dante, joined by my co-host, Ed, both real estate professionals on a mission to connect and educate. This podcast is sponsored by PropStream, the most trusted provider of comprehensive real estate data nationwide. What's happening, everybody? This is the Creative REI Experience podcast. I'm your host, Dante Pena, with the Creative REI. Creative REI, we just want to teach you two things: education and networking to connect with people. That's it. In this podcast, we do real estate, but we like to talk about life, travel, business, and all other stuff. And today we have our lovely guest. She's a boss babe, Miss Erika with CBD, Bluemist, which is also CBD, as well as magic mushrooms and natural
medicinal
mushrooms.
Mushroom, yes.
Correct, right? Yep. Now, thing about Erika is she has a health and wellness company, but I see her at every single real estate event, not anything else. It's just real estate. So what's the correlation?
When you make enough money, you want to start investing it properly. And I don't know real estate at all. I really am not interested in flipping houses myself. I don't have time to do that work because I'm manufacturing and running my own companies. Okay. So instead of my money just sitting in the bank,
you're putting it to work.
Exactly.
Wow. So you're really there to figure out how it works. So then when you do invest your money, you know exactly how it works.
Absolutely.
So it's safe to say you're a private money lender, essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. How do you find your clients that you lend money to, or do they find you?
They find me because everybody's always interested. Like, what do you do? And when I tell them I'm an investor, they start bringing me proposals.
Capital.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, what I feel I'm interested in, I'll get more information on. And if I like it, I'll do it. But I spend a lot of time researching the person, the companies, what they're, getting into, and making sure it's a good move.
Cool. You got any projects right now that you're working on?
I'm not working on any. I have a couple investments out, but I'm not actively
doing anything yourself.
Yeah, because Q4 is coming, and manufacturing and business with products, I have to be in the warehouse, manufacturing, marketing, getting everything out to make sure I have enough to get me through the Q4 and, my profits are
okay.
There.
So a lot of times she's actually sponsoring these events. So if you guys have an event and you need a sponsor, she's down.
Absolutely.
Reach out to her. She's at every event that I've been to, literally every single event that I've been to. And I've been to, where have we been at? We've been to Phoenix, Texas, Florida. I don't think I've seen you in Florida. That was like a small meetup, but like anything that's a convention, like mainly Texas.
I've done a few because I know, the Hustle Group in Texas, so I'll go out there and I'll sponsor with them.
Like Michael Giannis and Uncle Charles.
Yep, them. So I'll sponsor their events. Real cool people.
Yeah.
I sponsored an event in Miami for Alex Martin, so I sponsored one of his events out there, and so wherever there's a good opportunity where there's going to be a lot of people, I can get a lot of eyes. Sponsorship is not cheap.
Right.
So if I'm going to sponsor, I need to make sure there's going to be enough eyes for my product.
That makes sense. So let's talk about the events that you go to. Okay. I'm a huge advocate for networking. Mm-hmm. And so you're networking, obviously you're big on networking too, right?
Yeah.
What has been probably the biggest takeaway you could take from somebody who's maybe thought about going to these events, but hasn't? Going?
I would say go to as many as you can. Just start talking to people. I'm not like a people person. I'm pretty shy myself. I stay to myself. So when I go to these, it was really hard for me to break out of my shell and just start meeting people. Luckily for me, people will come and, everybody's so friendly. They always want to know, what do you do? What's your background? Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to work with everybody else. We're all there trying to make money. So.
Yeah, she was shy when I first met her, but then you get to know her. She talks, and it's we have good conversations, and she's actually really smart. So you're an actual chemist.
Pretty much. I have an engineering background, so I have a bachelor's degree in engineering. I was a mechanical engineer for 12 years. So cool. I worked on lasers. So I would travel the country, like
DOD, type. Yeah, so you're like top secret clearance?
Well, not that kind, but medical grade lasers, facial lasers, skin tightening, tattoo removal, any type of laser that they use in a doctor or medical office. I would install. Med
spas, you use your type of stuff? Okay.
A lot, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was cool.
So now tying into your actual business itself, Bluemist, tell us a little bit about that.
So when I left my engineering job, I got into the cannabis industry. So I ended up running a dispensary for a few years, and I learned about manufacturing, suppliers for a long time. So I got a lot of intel, met a lot of people. That's where I kind of like opened up to networking, because you have to talk to people.
Right.
More so, you have to let people talk to you.
Right.
So if you're talking too much, people love to talk about themselves first and foremost. So if you just kind of like open the door and let them talk, you'll learn a lot about who you're dealing with. And then you can decide, do I really want to deal with this person? Like they've told me a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the key there is just to like open the door and kind of like stay quiet. Like don't cut them off. Don't be so eager to volunteer information.
Right.
Let them give it to you.
Right. Cool. So what would you say, integrating your Bluemist into real estate, how has that worked out for you?
Well, it worked out because I have a lot of eyes now, a lot of, brand recognition off of it, because like whether people realize it or not, they saw me there. Right. So when I start getting into bigger stores, I'll be a household name because I'm familiar. People based everything off familiarity. Do I know it? Do you know it? Who told me about it? Like people, like if you refer something to me and I have an option, I'm going to pick the one that you referred, because I know you and I know what you told me. Right. I'm not even going to bother with this one. I don't want to take the time to learn it and figure it out. Like this one's good. I remember it. I'm going to do that. So if I could build like familiarity, like once I start, like my plan is to be in stores, big market chain stores, 1,000 stores nationwide, people will go shopping and they're going to reach for my product because it's familiar.
So you're trying to be just a household name. Yeah. Like it's name branding. It's branding over everything. Yeah. Okay. Are you in any large retailers or any large stores yet, or
not yet? Because they changed a lot of the rules on CBD, so I had to go back and get relicensed, and So I'm in process with everything right now. Once everything clears, I have a lot of accounts waiting. So I have an opportunity like with CVS and Rite Aid and stuff like that.
CVS and Rite Aid.
Yeah, for
those
the CBD
are
products.
Large retailers.
Yes.
Look at you.
So I just got to get all my paperwork right, and then be off to the races.
Do you have like a goal in mind, like other than CVS? Like, are we
Target? Yeah. So I did start a candle company as well, and $1 billion company with the candles. So I want to be in Target, Walmart, everybody that carries candles. Bath and Body Works is going out of business. So
really,
yes, and
I did not know that.
Yes, they are. They started closing stores, and that's like the biggest competitor with lotions and candles.
Right
now, people are freaking out. Where am I going to get my lotions and candles? See, I do bath bombs. I do all kinds of lotions, all kinds of stuff in the third company. I'm going to come to the rescue. So as I'm building my foundation and building like my profile of who I am and what I make, those are shutting down and I'm coming up.
Who is Bed Bath & Beyond losing to?
Bath and Body Works. They're just going out of business because
it's Bath and Body Works. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I said
all
Bed
the
Bath
candles
and
lotions. Yeah, that's bedding.
Yeah.
They got candles too.
You tell I don't go to any of these. I don't go to any of these.
I'll leave the house.
Yeah, I just go to the beach and come home.
Right. But yeah, so it's just the economy. Like people are not like splurging on candles and lotion like crazy anymore. No, people like if you go to the mall, Foot Locker's closing. A lot of big brands are closing. A lot of stores, like the mall is pretty useless at this point.
So from what you're telling me, almost sounds like e-commerce is what's putting them out of business.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Convenience.
So do you have an online store?
I do. And I have 3 websites and I'm building all my brands right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to get over, to get my stuff on Amazon. So again, I have to wait for all my certifications to clear and come through. And then I'm right on there. So
so you want to shout out your websites? Where are your websites at?
I have, my main website is bluemistcbd.com, and that has CBD. And I've also added some of the mushrooms on there as well, because people have a hard time finding my other websites. So I just integrated everything on one website, made it kind of simple for everyone. But it's bluemistwellness.com and bluemistbotanicals.com would be the candles and lotions.
Okay. Let's talk about some of these products.
Okay.
This is going to be the fun part.
Yeah.
Magic mushrooms. We're going to start with these because they were the first ones I reached for. So obviously, like, give me your feedback on these. What would you say about? I mean, obviously, there's people who are probably not for it. I have read stuff about mental health, so it helps with like anxiety. I've actually heard people in the tech world microdosing on this stuff to use it for creativity.
Yes.
So you could back that up?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
What type of research, or you got any?
Personal.
Personal? Okay,
Personal
cool.
research.
Let's hear it.
I was I don't want to say against mushrooms, but I was always terrified of mushrooms. Like, so when I was in the cannabis world, like, you know, mushrooms was like crazy because crazy people come in to me. They were crazy people. They're like, yeah, you got shrooms, mushrooms. I'm going to take an eighth. I'm going to trip out. And they'll come and tell me about their bad trips. And I'm like, that does not even sound fun. And so I'll be like, how long does this last?
What's a bad trip you've heard? Give me a bad trip.
Oh man, it was pretty horrific. It was some like snakes in the wall, kind of ground opening, your face melting. Like I'm like, whoa, like yeah, I'm not interested in that.
Right?
Yeah, that's a bit extreme. So it never really interested me. And then the more I would kind of like listen and pay attention, people start telling me about microdosing, like the microdose for focus. And you know, I'm like, okay, so I'm starting to get intrigued, but still, I don't have hours, and I'm not going to take some and take the chance that I take too much. I don't know the dosage yet. So I research something crazy until I completely understand it. And once I do, then I'll start, you know, dabbling into
heavy
So,
research.
Yeah, because I don't have time to waste.
So what did your research find?
Look, okay, so for half a gram to a gram, I would say half a gram is a really good starting point for somebody that has never done psychedelic mushrooms at all. One of these gummies is 300 milligrams, so it's a little bit less than half a gram.
Okay.
So you can start there to kind of see how you adjust to it. These kick in faster than dry mushrooms, just regular raw mushrooms.
Like the mushrooms that grow from mushrooms. Originally, it was supposed to be like cow dung or something.
Yeah, whatever it was. So.
Wow.
Those take 45 minutes to an hour to kick in. These kick in 20 to 30 minutes. So it's a good gauge because people will be there 30, 40 minutes. Like, I don't feel nothing. They'll start taking more. So now that you took more, you can't untake it. Like, it's taken, you know.
It's taken.
You're tripping. Yeah, it's too late. You sit down and, you know, have a good time. But
okay. So, all right, magic mushrooms. Now, next product, what do we got? So, okay, so just to make sure, these are one company.
Yes.
Right? So we have Bluemist Wellness Infused Edibles with lion's mane. I'm a huge fan of natural mushrooms.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys know about it, but I've actually substituted coffee for, it's not just lion's mane, but it was like a mixture of 4 or 5 different mushrooms that all help with not only energy and focus, but there's cancer preventative properties.
Anti-aging properties, like brain fog, like all that stuff. It like clears up your fog, inflammation, really good for inflammation, pain in your joints.
Okay.
Medicinal mushrooms are really good for pretty much everything. So if you stay on the 5 or 6 mushroom mix, like, you know, your digestion improves, everything improves, your brain fog, your memory.
I find myself to actually be more like cracked out than like regular coffee.
Well, because everything's clear. Coffee is just like a instant fix. You're taking something else, you know.
Right.
This clears everything up. So it's a big difference. Instead of your body fighting something else, it's clearing things out and it's helping you.
Okay.
So that's where your kick of energy comes from. That's natural energy.
How often do you take these?
Every day.
Morning, afternoon, and night?
So I have a few of them. I have these, lion's mane. I have cordyceps and I have reishi.
Excuse me.
The cordyceps are like kind of anti-aging. So I'll take some, I'll take these ones in the morning, the cordyceps in the afternoon. I have them kind of laid out. Like one's by my desk, one's in my car. So like every time I hit a different point of my day, I'm remembering to take them. And they're easy to take because they're gummies. You know, they don't taste bad. They work well. It's easy, you know, easy to remember, easy to take if you put it in your life path.
You have like a certain set of spots that you put these in, like every time?
Yeah.
So it's like wake up, go to the bathroom, lion's mane.
Yep. There's one in my bathroom, one by my coffee maker, one in my car, one in my desk, one in my warehouse. And that's pretty much because that's where I'm at most of the time.
So lion's mane, guys, if you want to check that out.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
That is my Delta 8 pen. So that one does have THC.
Okay, Delta 8 pens.
Yes.
These are legal in Texas. No or no?
That was kind of iffy. So when I went out there, I kind of hit them a little bit just in case. I heard that THC is not legal at all in Texas.
THC, but Delta 8 is.
Delta 8 is a legal limit here in California.
Okay, I used to own I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it was like a franchise. We won't even talk about them. We had a franchise, and the franchise required you to do 2 days training at their headquarters.
Okay.
And so they want you to know everything about CBD, right? Like, and the biggest thing that this franchise was big on was samples. So the minute you walk into the door, you're like, hey guys, have you tried this before? No? Okay, great. Sample, right? Before we start talking about anything at all. Yeah. And then you start giving them what it is. So what people don't understand with CBD, it's cannabis, okay? But it's not like the cannabis you think, right? So to a majority of the society that are not really educated on this, cannabis is a plant in which they have strands and family members. So CBD coming from the hemp strand, correct?
Right.
And marijuana coming from the
Cannabis plant.
it's cannabis, but marijuana is the cousin of hemp.
Yeah, they're separate plants, so the THC content is very different in the two plants. So THC has heavy content in cannabis and a very low content in hemp. And it has high CBD content in hemp and low in
Correct.
Yes.
In which THC, from what they taught me, was psychoactive.
Yes.
Psychoactive is what you get when you feel stoned.
Yeah.
So CBD, being a very low content of THC, is not psychoactive. So you might feel a slight relaxation, but you're not going to actually get high. But this has a little bit of THC in it, is what you're saying.
It does, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the
no.
other one does not.
So this one here.
Yes, that one has no THC at all. Zero THC, very clean. I have a lot of customers that are terrified of THC. They don't want it, can't have it. So I have the cleanest, purest version of CBD. So my isolate is pure and my distillate is pure.
I love that. So for the people who don't know what isolate and distillate is, you want to explain that?
They are the extraction that comes from the hemp plant. So you take the hemp plant and you can either extract it into a powder, which is isolate, or an oil, a heavy oil, and that's distillate.
An oil.
And you take those two, and that's how you make your products. So it's either isolate or distillate.
What do you know about water solubles?
Like, what do you mean?
So the franchise I worked with, they did what's called a water soluble, where it was
Like the nano stuff?
is nanotechnology. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're breaking up the molecules of the hemp. So what it does is it makes it stronger. So not only does it hit faster, it lasts longer. And so that was like their whole like brand was everyone's doing oils. Oils doesn't absorb in your skin as quick as water does because your body is what?
Water.
Exactly. So
But
that was their whole sales. Right. But you get what I'm saying? And then the isolates, they had isolates, but the main thing was their solubles, their solutions.
Right.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy getting into it because at one point you think it's just weed, right?
At the beginning, yeah.
Right. And it's funny because you're saying the people that want, they don't like THC, they don't like to get high.
Right.
I used to have the same people come into my store, and we used to have this flower, and the flower would be no THC flower, only CBD, but it was enough to get them relaxed and be like, I love this stuff, right? But they don't like weed. They're like, used to be huge
They
potheads.
get too high because it creates anxiety. When you're so high, you're like, oh my God, everybody's looking at me, everybody's watching me. Like, you can't enjoy it because you're panicked out.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
So they I have flour too, and that's one of my top sellers. I do pre-rolls and jars, and even in the jar, you could take it and put it in your tea. So you can either roll it up and smoke it or break it down and put it in your tea, and you got CBD tea.
There any other options other than those two, or is that just...
With flour, that's it. I was working on developing a tea, so it's ready to go. But at this point, I'm like, okay, you
break
can
it up yourself.
Because I would have to create such a large tea line. You know, some people like Earl Grey, some people like breakfast tea, some people like green. Like
it'd have to turn into flavors.
Yeah,
right.
I would be a whole. When I'm done building everything else, then I'll go back and, when I have time, and I'll expand then. But yeah, right now.
Yeah, I like that. Cool. So, okay, so Delta 8 with THC gets you a little stoned. You'll get a psychoactive.
Yes.
And if you don't like psychoactive, you're probably going to get anxious.
No, because it's mostly CBD. CBD counters anxiety, stress and anxiety. So this is it's super balanced. People love these. These sell very well because you don't get high, but you're in a really good mood because it takes the stress and anxiety away, gives you a little bit of THC. So you're still completely coherent. You can still drive and all that. Like everything is completely fine, but you're in such a better mood.
Pineapple Express.
Yes.
Love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so what do we got next? We have wellness sea moss. I've never heard of this.
You've never heard of sea moss itself?
I mean, I've never heard of it being an edible for infused. I mean, I know it's sea moss. But you've heard of the gel,
right?
Well, are we talking about like stuff that's in the ocean, right? Sea moss.
Oh, you've really never heard of like what people eat? Okay, so this is like one of the best things. This is like some Dr. Sebi shit right here.
Okay.
So this is like, it's going to like reduce inflammation. It has all the minerals that you need. So nowadays, food, all the fake food out there, all the stuff they spray in the foods, there's no nutritional value in anything. So your body is like, we used to be able to live so much longer because the food was a lot cleaner. So everything that they're putting, all the pesticides and stuff in food nowadays, it's deteriorating our body quicker.
So it's killing us, giving us cancer.
Yes, it is. It's coming from the food, guys.
They're not going to air us.
Drive-through, I know.
Giving all this information, they're going to cut us off.
I know.
Creative REI was supposed to be real estate. What happened?
It's life now. You said life.
I
right?
like this. No, I love this because this is what it's about, right?
Yeah.
So like, I mean,
Because
real
you
estate.
have to be healthy to be able, you're gonna make all this money and then what, die? Like, don't
Right.
you want to enjoy it?
Well, so here's the thing too. She's a business. She's an entrepreneur, right? So she's a business owner who's involved in real estate. And this is what I like to tell people. Okay, number one, real estate creates more millionaires than any other industry. Statistically proven. You can look it up. But most importantly, the 1% of the population that own 90% of the wealth, guess what they all own? Real estate, right? So she's diversifying. But not only that, I'm a huge fan of wellness. I call it holistic health. Would you?
Yes, absolutely.
You would
That's
say
exactly
it's the same
what it
thing?
is. Yes, because that's what this line is based off. A holistic thing. Mushrooms
Yeah.
are holistic.
Right.
Sea moss is holistic. Everything that I do is very natural.
So if I eat this with my regular food, it's going to be way more healthier or what?
Okay, so illness is mucus in your body, like buildup of mucus that holds all the germs and bacteria, and that's what makes you sick, and then it starts deteriorating your body. This
Okay.
removes mucus from your body. So
Removes mucus from your
yes.
body.
like there's no mucus when I breathe, like all that congestion, like flu and stuff like that, like it's gone.
I feel like I'm getting a cold, and as I'm
I
like
would say you should
coughing,
take
I was
some.
like, "Can I?
Try this,
Or I
please.
can?
Yes, yeah.
Ooh.
Take 2. So 2 a day is great.
2 a
If you're
day.
feeling sick, go ahead and take like 4 a day, like 2 in the morning, 2 in the
Okay.
afternoon. But like yeah, this is gonna remove mucus if my kids start getting, if I can hear the phlegm in their throats and
Want
stuff.
some sea
Like
moss head? I'm gonna
yeah.
give some to Ed too.
yeah, take 2. And it's really gonna help remove all the mucus. And it's
Okay.
really miraculous because they'll take the sea moss gummies, tell them twice a day. So 2 in the morning, 2 at night. They'll take them, and like in 2 days, I can hear everything pretty clear.
Feels better?
Yes.
Mm.
So very
I'm
good.
gonna cop some for myself, guys. Bluemist CBD. This stuff is fire too. It tastes really good. What else we got? We have broad spectrum. Ooh, I know about broad spectrum.
Good.
So it's not full spectrum. It's broad.
Yeah, right in the middle.
What's the difference between broad spectrum and full
The
spectrum for the
amount of
people that don't know?
THC in there. So this is just a trace, just a little bit of THC to kind of help the CBD, work. And then full spectrum is like the whole plant. Like
Right.
we're not going to filter nothing out of it. Like this is what it is.
Right.
There's THC in it. You're not going to get high. It's not psychoactive amount, but it will, like if you take it for a month straight, it'll come out on a test. So I get asked that all the time.
It will pop up in a
Full
test.
spectrum will pop after you've been taking it consistently for a month.
Full spectrum CBD.
Yes.
Really?
It's the hemp plant, and it does have like traces of THC in it. Now, if you take it once, in a blue moon, you just take it to sleep every now and then, it's not going to pop. But if you're taking it every day, like a supplement, like as you should take supplements, yeah, after a month, it'll pop. It'll be
start
very low.
popping.
It'll have traces. It'll show like very low amounts, but they'll question it.
So funny when you say that because customers used to ask,
All the time.
"Will I pass a test?" And I'm
Yes.
like, "We can't tell you yes or no."
Right.
It was straight up what we
Right.
would tell them.
See, now I can.
Yeah, so you'd be
because-
like, "No," after a couple weeks, but maybe in a month or so of nonstop doing this, it definitely will pop up. Do not if you have a test coming.
Broad and full spectrum, yes, I would tell them that. But my isolate and my distillate, again, is completely clear.
Okay.
0 THC. So if they cannot risk it popping on a test, then I'll direct them back to the regular CBD,
Okay.
to isolate or distillate. And you're
Okay.
good.
So CBD and CBN. So this has Delta 8 in it?
No, has CBN. So
CBN.
CBN, and then this one has CBG. So this is for
CBG.
focus, and that one is
Okay.
for sleep. So CBN is like
Focus
the
sleep or focus sleep?
blue is focus.
Focus.
Sleep is dark. I try to do sleep dark for like night,
So
like
what do you
blue
need?
for the morning.
I need this one for when we're working. Me and Ed,
Yes.
yeah. We're
Yeah.
going to take this focus.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And then this is for bedtime.
Bedtime. So if you have trouble sleeping, so this is not going to put you to sleep. It's not going to knock you out. It's not melatonin. It's not going to be like
Right.
pop one and pass out. So I tell my customers, take it about an hour before you want to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lay down and your head hits the pillow, you'll close your eyes and you'll be out. You won't have any trouble getting to sleep when you're
Mm-hmm.
ready. So people don't have to be afraid of like, okay, like when's it going to kick in? How long do I have until I pass out?
And these are probably better than melatonin.
Much
'cause
better.
Melatonin,
Terrible for you.
yeah, it
Terrible.
overloads you, doesn't
So
it?
what melatonin is it's a naturally occurring chemical in your body. You naturally produce melatonin.
Mhm.
So when you take it, you tell your body, go ahead and stop producing it because I'm supplementing it. I got you. don't produce
so now I
anymore.
have trouble sleeping, and
That's
it's
why.
because I took too much
You
melatonin.
told your body to stop taking melatonin because you were supplementing
Sheesh.
it. Yeah.
I used to mix too. I did melatonin and CBD I have trouble sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
and especially me and Ed will be like, we'll text at night because we're just talking business stuff or whatever, and sometimes like mind is running at like 100 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and it's like 11:30, and we got to wake up at 5
yeah.
to go run or something.
Right.
And next thing you know, it's 12:30 and I'm like, why haven't I slept yet?
Yeah.
So I
So
love
those
these.
will be great. That'll be great. If you're not opposed to THC, my Delta 8 gummies work really well. So if you want to pass out, like don't bother me, I want to go to sleep.
Will I wake up groggy though?
If you only take one, no. But if
Okay.
you're like, okay, I'm gonna take
If
two
you're like,
right
"Oh."
now, yeah, you will wake up not groggy, but like people tell me like a hangover feeling. Like they'll feel like
Okay.
like they were drinking or something. But if you take excess, don't take them in excess. You don't
Right.
need it. It's
Everything's good in moderation.
exactly. So if you want to just pass out, take one. You're good. You'll feel fine in the morning. You'll feel really rested.
I love it. This sleep stuff and then focus. Man, I'm gonna try all this stuff out actually now. So I'm learning more than I thought I knew. So that's good. So guys, again, Bluemist.
Open it. Smell it.
Ooh.
Yeah. These
This
are
the
my
candles?
top sellers. Yeah. So the candles and the gummies are my top, and the
Ooh,
pens.
Carmen's gonna like these. I'm gonna bring these back to Carmen. Let me see. What do we got here?
Well, show them the bag, pull it out. So all the candles come in this nice
Fancy.
little fancy bag.
Yeah.
A little satin
This smells
bag,
really
reusable.
good. I don't know if we got any ladies in here that like scented things, but this
Guys
thing
too.
I do. I'm
Hella
not
guys.
a big
Like,
fan
yeah,
of it.
It's not a gender thing.
I'm not a big fan of like scented stuff, but this smells really good. It's like oceany.
Tsunami.
Oh, it's called Tsunami.
Yes.
Wow.
Perfect.
You knew this because I surf, huh? You're like, or this is by chance?
That was by chance.
Oh,
it's
the universe. The universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Yeah. I don't know. That one just called out to me. So my intuition's pretty good.
Okay, so where are we at with Bluemist? Where do we want to go with it? What are some goals you have?
It's getting into all the major stores now that it's being more recognized. Like if you go into Vons, they have a little CBD case there. Like like
Are you in Vons?
No, but I've
Not
seen
yet.
it there. Yeah, like CVS and Rite Aid and stuff like that. Especially if they have pharmacies, they carry CBD or hemp products now.
How does it work to get in there? Have you tried, or are you still trying to figure it out, or is the regulation?
No, I know somebody. I have like a way in. Like so, you just got to basically the purchasing manager. You have to find whoever the purchasing manager is. They'll give you a list of things that they need. Requirements to get in. You come to them with the everything that they ask for, all your license certificates, barcodes, UPCs, everything that they need because they have to scan it. Then you give them your price, and if the price makes sense to them, then they'll go ahead and like get a small batch and test it out, and then if they like it, then you're in thousands of stores overnight.
So, what we do in real estate, we don't like to give the first price ever. Have you ever hey, what's the price you guys need to be
when
at?
you're dealing with big chains?
They don't care.
No. Like you just have to give them what's the price, and they decide yes or no. Like when you're like the buyer and stuff like this, like any suppliers that I have, they never ask me, oh, what do you need it at? Like that's like low key, like kind of like black market cannabis.
That's a black. So they're doing it.Ey're probably not legal.
Right.
Okay, guys, remember that. Give your price, or you're illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you give them a price, you give them a wholesale price, you give them
wholesale.
a retail price, or what you can sell it for retail.
I give them my retail price. So I have a sheet with all my products on there, everything that, retail that I sell it for, on my website, and then their price. And then their price depends on if they want it cheaper, they have to buy more. So like if you're buying under 100, this amount. Once you get over like 500 pieces, then the price drops. So then they decide, okay,
There's a
let me
tier
try it out.
system.
Yeah, it's a tier system. So the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. And, they decide what they want. If the profit margin is good enough for them, they'll go ahead and.
So how long have you been in business for?
In CBD, about 3 years.
3 years?
Legit business, my own business, 3 years. I did run, I'm telling you, a dispensary. I had a clothing brand before this. So I've had other LLCs before.
Okay.
I learned a lot about manufacturing. Like I can run my own distillate and isolate. Like I know how to do all of that from scratch. But it's just so much equipment and it's like, a huge investment. I'd rather just buy it from an established company that does it because to grow all those plants, and I've done everything. I've grown plants, I've distilled, like manufactured.
You manufacture in-house, or do you outsource it now, or?
For the cannabis industry, I did.
You outsource or it's in-house?
In-house. Everything was in-house. Everything of mine is in-house right now. Like I'll outsource one or two things. Like the mushroom gummies, it's a little bit harder to get like licensed and equipment for those things. And raw product, it's another whole process to extract mushrooms. I don't have the time to learn that right now.
Where are you able to find actual mushrooms, like magic
raw mushrooms?
Magic mushrooms.
Well, these are magic mushrooms, but these are like extracted.
Okay, so I know they've been decriminalized. Is that correct?
Some of them. Psilocybin is not. Psilocybin is still illegal.
So this is not psilocybin.
This is not psilocybin. This is amanita.
Oh, what's the difference?
Okay, so Amanita, it's okay, kind of like you know how Delta 8 is to THC, like you still
Right.
get high, but not all the way.
Okay.
So that's kind of like Amanita. Like you're still gonna get the kick, you're still gonna get the full effect, but
So
it's not
not
gonna
the
last.
full trip of mushrooms.
It's the full trip. If you take,
Enough.
like this is 3 grams in here. If you take the whole bag, you're definitely gonna trip. But
Okay.
it won't last as long as psilocybin. Psilocybin can last 8 to 10 hours.
So it's called psilocybin and
Amanita.
Amanita.
Yes.
So in California, Amanita is legal.
Everywhere, Amanita is legal.
So federally, nationwide.
Yes, it's just like Delta 8.
Okay, but so Delta 8's allowed in Texas.
Okay.
So that's got a little bit of THC.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously it goes from federal down to like states, down to probably counties. Is there any states that are like, no, we're still not doing?
If there are, like, that's not my concern because I'm in a legal state. And because if they're in a state that doesn't allow it, like,
We don't
I
even do
can't-
business.
Well, I do. I'm not going to go and tell one state you can't buy this. Like you can buy my whole CBD website, but you can't buy Delta 8.
Right.
Like what people do, they do. So if it gets to their house and they get caught, like that wasn't me. You bought it. You knew your state didn't allow it. You know, it's like.
So you have disclaimers like, hey, if this is not allowed in your state, this is on you, not me. Like
people know they're
they shouldn't be doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if I were to go online, right, and I'm in, I don't know, Iowa, Indiana, I don't know. I don't even know.
It's legal for me to sell it.
But not legal for them to have it.
That's my only issue. That I don't know what
Some
you're
gray
legally.
areas.
That's why there's so many
areas.
restrictions and it's still heavily monitored. And, that's why they're making me jump through hoops to get like licensed, like every single thing. I have to pay, $2,000 license fee and this is for everything that I have. So that, it adds up fast.
It's crazy with the gray areas because even when we had our shop it was in Fort Worth, Texas, and even though it was allowed, people were still getting raided.
Yeah.
Right? And like it'd be the county, like the district attorney
exactly
would be publicly like, anybody with a CBD shop, we're coming after. And then after realizing that the law's passed and they cannot do that, they redact it, but never publicly.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a crazy industry to learn about. I got some buddies, they own dispensaries. They do delivery only out of Oceanside because Oceanside's one of those cities where they don't want storefronts. They'll allow delivery there, but cities like that?
Yeah, well, the reason is robbery. Like every storefront gets robbed.
It creates crime?
It does.
Okay.
Heavily because everybody knows how much the industry is worth. Like, you go in there and, there's a lot of money, a lot of worth of product and money. And like, you really can't, unless you are heavily, heavily secured, even security, like, they're not going to stop you. You come in there with guns. Yeah. Like you never know if they're just going to lay down and let it happen. What was the point of that? You just don't know. But so a lot of storefronts were getting robbed.
Okay.
And it's a huge liability. The insurance has to pay for it. Like the city's involved because it's a city building. You're within the city limits. And, you're operating. So yeah, that's probably why they don't want any stores because like high theft. Well,
so the city next to it, Vista, has a bunch of them, right? Yeah. Have you ever been to North County?
I've been a few places. I don't know the difference.
You don't
of the
hang
cities.
out. Yeah. You don't. It's
I'll go through there.
Like you're from Riverside, right? Okay, so like I've been through Riverside in Norco, but like I don't hang out there, so I couldn't find like normal places. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, so aside of business, right? If money was not an issue, right? You didn't have to worry about money. What would you truly do with your time?
Honestly, this is what I would like. I love my life. I love what I do. Like, I don't ever wake up not one day and be like, oh, like, I hate my life and I need to take a vacation. I live a life I don't need to take a vacation from. Like, if I have to travel, I'm kind of upset. Like, damn, I got shit to do here.
Right.
So
that's funny you say that. We just met a guy, super cool dude. We're going to actually have him on the show eventually, but he lives in Newport. And he ran a $30 million a year company where he used to run it himself, but then he figured out a system. I think he took a coaching program that helped him. But what they did is essentially his business ran more efficient when he stepped away from it than when he was involved. And I thought that was something that intrigued me. So I guess my question to you, would you ever get to that position or do you not want to? Because a lot of people want to be hands-on in their business and then some people want to just step away. It just depends on who you are, right?
It depends on the part of the process that you're in. So I absolutely want my business to run by itself. I absolutely want to I love to learn, and I always want to, grow and get better. So I want to learn something. I want to open a bakery. Like I bake as well. So like that's my next venture. Like once this is all, so the CBD, the wellness, I'm gonna get that up and going. I want to get into gyms and nutritional stores with that. So like I still have a long time. I have a whole plan laid out.
Okay.
Once I get through, all my stuff is in gyms and I'm in Target, I'm in Rite Aid, like I'm everywhere with my CBD and my supplements, Amazon. Then I want to open like a bakery, like a coffee shop, because that's what I like grew up loving to do. Like I used to love to bake, and I, almost went to baking school instead of engineering school. So like it was those are my two options. So like I enjoy what I'm doing now. I do want to once I perfect it. I'm a perfectionist. So once every single step of the process is completely perfected, I write all the formulas. So I make all the lotions, creams, and all that stuff. So once I have everything there and I can bring somebody in that will not mess it up. That's my biggest thing. Don't mess my shit up.
That's the hardest part about owning your own business. You're very particular, right? Yeah. I'm very particular where something can be not really a big deal, but because of how particular you are, you're like, I need cringing.
Because you piss off the wrong customer or you give the wrong customer a bad product. You don't know how many people are going to tell. Like you really have to care about what you're doing and understand. Like you have to, if you're doing this to help people and make them happy, like you really have to do that. Like this is my perfect product. I'm completely happy with it. They're going to love it. They could see how much you believe in it. So when they buy it, they believe in it, and things work better if in your mind you think this is great. Right. So when you come to me and I tell you about the product and I make you a believer, you're going to go home already a believer of my product.
Kind of like when we did the samples. Yes. It was too easy.
Exactly.
I've had people that walked in that were like at first completely against CBD because they thought it was weed.
Exactly.
Right. And in Texas, you got a lot of older conservative folks. Yeah. So their mindset towards it is way different, probably based off how they were raised.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I'd get some that come in and they'd have like, arthritis in their hands or trouble sleeping or anxiety, or some girl had like tremors, like she would like, and then you give them the thing and all of a sudden, oh, my hand feels better. Right. Yeah. Like my foot doesn't hurt anymore. Yeah. Or I was able to sleep last night. I don't get anxiety as much. And it's crazy when you're actually able to start helping those type of people. So I'm kind of bummed I had to shut mine down. I had a bad business partner. I think he was embezzling. We were bleeding, and then like COVID hit, and they were like, all right, we can keep bleeding or we can just shut down shop. So we ended up shutting down shop. Partners went their own separate ways. But it taught me a lot. I learned a lot of stuff about CBD, and I'm actually a huge advocate and fan of CBD. So
because and that's the problem.
There's lack of education.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Y'all need to get educated. Yeah. Stop being stupid. Oh no. It went off. Hey, I think my phone went dead. No, my phone went dead. Hit the close. Get underneath. Yeah. But okay, so let's talk about travel. Have you traveled anywhere?
This year.
Shut off. Bummer. All right, it's fine. This year, no.
This year, a little bit in the beginning. I think I went to Miami in January, so I started out there.
What about outside of the country?
No, I haven't. I'm so focused, like I'm saying, like building my business right now. It's not even like I traveled stupidly last year. Like all the events that you're talking about networking, like
we all went to the same ones.
Where I was always traveling. We're we're everywhere. So like every month, twice a month, I'm doing this or doing that or running an expo or exhibiting or something like that. So I traveled a lot. I was in Texas a lot. Arizona a lot. But after the first part of this year, I'm just like, you know what? I need to buckle down, and I really need to get these companies like really off the ground online. I need to get these e-com because
e-com's where it's at right now.
E-com's where it's at because if I have them on e-com, I don't have to spend my time because it takes a lot of time to travel and to talk to people. And if I can get on e-com and I can get it out there before I get there, I'm just like the icing on the cake. Like you already kind of heard of me, you kind of seen it already. Now I'm gonna explain it to you and make you a believer. Right. So it makes my job easier when I get in front of people. I don't have to start from ground zero.
So why even be concerned with Target or the big retailers if e-com is
because they are e-com as well. You can go online and order Target. Like people, you can
they
go
won't just
online.
let you sell their product on their website, or
they have that too. So like Walmart, you can sell it on Walmart's website. They don't carry it in the store, but you can sell it on their website. Yeah. So I got offered that. I just did the Fit Expo in Anaheim, and there's actually somebody that came around to asking me if I wanted to be sold on the Walmart website. Of course. Yeah. So like I'm in contact with him. waiting again to get everything, up to speed. And then, yeah, we're off to the games. And he's like, if it does well enough on the website, then we bring it in store. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's how Walmart works.
So watch out for Bluemist.
Yes.
Have you ever traveled internationally?
No.
What's your background?
Hispanic.
But
I was born
like
here.
Spaniard or
Mexican? My dad's mom came from Mexico into Texas.
Okay.
So my dad grew up in
Tejano.
Texas. Yes.
Not Mexican on Tejano. They're big. Yeah. They're big like that out there.
So
so Hispanic background.
Mm-hmm.
Born and raised in Riverside, or
I was born in LA. Then my parents moved inland and they raised me in Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
They were part of like the car scenes and all the racket out here, and they just decided they
like race cars or
lowriders,
and
gangsters.
So so Oceanside, Sundays, you see those guys cruising the beach all the time, and they're like in big groups.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Being brought up in it, I'm not a fan of it. So I won't do.
It was a hostile environment.
Yes,
I get it. Trust me, I understand.
I'm good on all that. Yeah. I can't. And then all the guys live with their moms. Like, no, thank you.
So essentially, it kind of built you into what you are now.
Yeah, like I didn't have to wonder. I didn't get stuck in that life. Like I knew what it was.
Right.
And I'm good. Like, when you grow up in certain environments, you either are bred into it or you learn what you want or what you don't want. It's generational.
A lot of people don't understand that. So, where we grew up, there's definitely some environments and neighborhoods that are by generation. Mm-hmm. So like, you can almost are just born into it versus like you don't just decide, hey, I'm going to go join this.
Right.
It's your dad was, your grandpa was. Right.
But then you have the decision, do I want to stay here or do I want to be something else? Facts. And I just decided I didn't want to stay there.
Right.
I wanted to leave and I did.
That's good. That's actually a good message for anybody out there, because there's going to be a lot of people that are probably searching for something other than what they have. And maybe, I don't know, they get lucky, they fall upon this.
People don't know that they have options. We all have options. Mm-hmm. Every single step you take, every breath you take, everything is an option in life. So life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. You're doing it. And you have nobody else to blame or to, thank but yourself at the end of the day for where you are, because you can change it if you want.
Right. What would you tell somebody that's like a younger you that maybe is going through like what you went through?
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Don't get rid of fear altogether. Like, even when I was going through hard times.
Obviously, don't jump off a cliff.
Don't jump off a cliff, but like in business, why not?
Business okay, yeah. I like that.
To make that jump, I did.
Learn to swim.
I did. I left a 6-figure engineering job and I jumped into nothing. I jumped into the street. I jumped into, black market cannabis, and with no solid foundation. If that would have failed, I would have to run back,
to my industry. 9 to 5, yeah.
I couldn't do it. Like once you work for yourself, like there's no going back. Like I could never. And people always ask me, so, what if the businesses fail and would you go back? I'm like, no, first of all, my businesses are not going to fail.
Right.
Second of all, like I can't work for anybody anymore.
Right. Some people, it's just their thing. Like
they're comfortable.
People, right. Listen, first of all, we need people.
We need workers. So some of y'all stay working.
Yeah. Don't quit your day job. Don't quit your day job if you're not ready. Maybe get a side hustle. Come partner with us at a side hustle if you want to, because we need y'all, right? But what would you say? Okay, you're in every retailer. The bakery's up and running. Mm-hmm. You don't even need to step away. What would you do next?
I would find something. Like,
I'd figure it out.
Yeah, I'd figure it out. But I would continue to build. I would just keep starting companies, or I would help people start their companies. That's kind of what I do now. Like I white label a lot of CBD for other companies. Okay. And
so it's your product.
This is my product. I manufacture.
They're selling it as their name, but it'll be your product. Yeah. And so if they get a bigger brand and you're manufacturing, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Because they can't do it without me. So I'm not a hater. I will go to like big old conventions.
There's no middleman. I'm the middleman.
That's right.
Well, it's not even the middleman. You're the source.
I'm the source. Okay. Yeah. So you can't do it without me. And if you decide to, use somebody else because they're cheaper or whatever it might be, the product's going to be completely different. You're going to lose a lot of your loyal customers that have been using my products off of your brand this whole time because you switched it all up. You can't do that. They can't do that.
Right.
So without me, they have nothing.
Yeah. I like that. Almost like not monopolized, but pretty much like you can't figure. So a lot of people, I try to show them a pitch, right? And sometimes I've heard this a couple different places, but the best person will do about 80% of what you're able to do when it comes to like sales.
Yeah. So
in this case, if you were to try to step away and have somebody do that for you, is that a possibility or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. If they don't mess it up.
if
particular.
even if they do 80%, that's still freeing up all my time. I'm still getting 80% of the profit with no time being spent.
Okay.
So why not?
All right.
I would lose 100% of my time to get 100% of the sales.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, so we're outside the country, other than Mexico. Where have you been?
Outside of the country, I haven't traveled.
You haven't been outside? Okay, so where would you go? Dang. I'm trying to get Erika thinking here, but she's got like all the answers. I'm trying to figure out, how do I stomp this woman? How do I stump her? You got any questions, Ed?
Yeah.
What do you got?
So I think one point you brought on, I want to repeat
Yeah.
on the microphone, but I know the importance of marketing when you said, especially you want to be so particular, whether it's in your designs or in your logos. For someone that, let's say, wants to get into the industry, what are some suggestions you would give them to get their branding started? Is it like does it need to have a message behind it? Does it need to, target a certain audience? Does it need to have like a history behind it? What do you think needs to?
So for somebody wanting to get started in CBD, what would you give them as far as advice?
Right, in terms of branding.
And branding, okay, so the biggest thing in branding is basically don't overthink it. Whatever comes to your mind, do that. And everybody wants to know your story. So the biggest question I've gotten asked is like, how did you get started? What brought you here? Why? Like, why? Everybody wants to know why. So whatever your brand is, like, it has to mean something to you. If it doesn't mean anything to you, people will see through you and they'll know you're just trying to sell something. They don't want to buy something. They don't want to buy a product. They want to buy your story. They want to buy who you are.
There's so many people doing CBD everywhere.
So why would I buy yours? Exactly the question I get asked all the time.
Okay.
So the biggest thing is to not to have a story, but like figure out something that means something to you, because people can tell through it. Like if you just make some shit up, you're going to like trip down the line and then they're going to, now you're out. They're not going to believe you no more. They don't want to deal with you. Right. Like, no, you said this and now you're this. Don't
lose your credibility.
Right. So basically don't lie. So find a true source, a true passion. All the companies that succeed are true passion. So this is my true passion. That's why it all looks so good. That's why it's so like such a good product.
It did taste really good, actually.
Yeah, and
I like that.
Thank you.
That sea moss.
Also, one more. What does Bluemist mean for you?
Ooh, what does Bluemist mean for you?
Okay, so Bluemist, when I was thinking about what do I want this company to be, you think about CBD, what do you think? You think like stress relief, relaxation, anxiety. You want to like relax and, think clear, and you want to have like the heaviness lifted off your shoulders. So what is the most beautiful, calmest, serenest place that you can think of? If you close your eyes,
water.
Thank you. Exactly. That was my thought.
I mean, I surf. So I mean, and anybody that knows me, if I feel, I just posted a video like that. It's, I find myself the most calmest when I'm in the ocean. I truly feel the ocean heals.
Yeah.
And also I can't answer my phone when I'm in the water.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
disconnected. Yeah.
And there's days where I'm like, I need to go surfing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's overwhelming. You have those days, right? Yeah. You're going hard. You realize you're going hard, but you're like, okay, I need to like come back. Yeah. Right. Exactly. We need to like regroup. And so for me, my regroup is in the ocean. Yep. So water. So
it's a waterfall. So basically my most perfect place that I would go just to like disconnect is at the bottom of a waterfall. At the bottom of a waterfall, what is it? Bluemist.
Yeah. So Bluemist water. Okay. So waterfall.
So it's like when the waterfall crashes down and you have this beautiful fresh mist over yourself. Like you're calm.
So that's your peace. That's your peaceful place.
Yeah.
You've been to any waterfalls in San Diego?
I haven't. You got to send it to me.
What? Okay. We're going to have to send it. We have a couple. There's a lot. Dude, you like hiking?
Yes, I love it.
You ever been to Potato Chip Rock?
Never. It sounds interesting though.
It's insane. It's like 3.5 miles uphill, like vertical, like you're climbing.
I'm with it.
I did it on New Year's Day with my daughter one time, and she was like, "Dad, what are we doing?" I was like, "We're climbing a mountain for New Year's."
Yeah.
And she didn't understand it, but when we got to the top,
you're like, no, literally.
Yeah. So I actually posted some on that. I was like, "There's a lesson to be learned some here, but right now we're just enjoying the view."
Yeah. Right.
So, okay. So where would you go if you try? You haven't traveled. That's crazy. That's insane. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
38.
Okay. So, my first travel experience was Jamaica.
Nice.
And we were in actually like a nice resort. It's called the Hilton Rosenhall, which was dope. Don't get me wrong. But then some of the friends I was with ended up getting off the resort. And next, we end up at this music festival called Heroes Day in Jamaica. And we're like hanging out with all the local Jamaicans of Montego Bay, dancing dance hall. And it was in that moment I realized how important culture is because there's culture everywhere. You've been to Phoenix, you've been to Texas, you've been to Miami, and you can tell even in the cities alone the difference in culture.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you had a place you were to go, right, would be a place that's like on the list?
I want to go to like the Mayan ruins. I want to go, like, I'm intrigued by pyramids, the ruins.
Is it Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have some in South America too, don't they?
Yeah. All that. So anywhere with ruins or pyramids, like I'm super intrigued by all that stuff. So.
Okay. So pyramids, is that it?
It's water.
Water. Antarctica? Like, would you go to?
I would love to go to Antarctica.
I'd be down to go to Antarctica.
I'm intrigued by Antarctica. I've been like studying and watching, everybody that's there and, Google Maps and like, yeah. So I really want to go. And the crazy thing is my parents went there for their honeymoon.
No way.
Yeah. And I see pictures.
Stayed in an igloo?
Yeah. There's pictures of them in an igloo. And I never understood because my dad, my dad would hate to leave the house. He was a homebody. Like you couldn't get him out of the house. My mom would take, all the kids with her because my dad never wanted to go. Why would he choose Antarctica? That was his choice. That was not her choice. Yeah. And how did you get my mom to go out there,
But she's the outside person?
Yeah,
or the homebody?
But she would never pick Antarctica. Like that's like, she goes to like TJ and Mexico and like Vegas.
I love TJ. Actually, so we did Rosarito. Anything Baja by the beach is pretty much California, but like a third of the price.
Right.
If you guys have never, a lot of people are scared. I know a lot of people that haven't been to California and they don't understand how we just go to Mexico for the weekends. Yeah. Because people in Texas, especially if you live in El Paso, you don't cross over to Juarez. It's not just normal.
Yeah, you don't go there.
They're like, no, you don't go to Juarez like at all. Yeah. And so with us, it's not like that at all. Tijuana is actually really beautiful.
Yes.
And it's like a full-on city. So like you guys get a chance to do that. Ed, any other questions?
Yeah. What do you think the cannabis industry is going to be in the next
51 minutes?
All right.
Is it going to be more regulated or will it be more accepted?
I think everything cannabis, CBD, you see like psychedelic mushrooms is now being accepted. This is an up and coming industry.
That the evolution.
Yeah. So cannabis is going to be huge. I'm actually getting into delivery. I'm going to have my own delivery service. So I will be out here in your area as well. I kind of have it mapped out where I'm going to be. So I definitely want to get into cannabis. And the reason I would not open a storefront is the robbery. So when you're asking like why that, like I definitely understand that.
I mean, we're next to 3 major bases though. You could easily hire military trained cats. Like just
you could, but like in any job that you have, not everybody cares.
True.
So
they
like
probably don't get paid enough.
They don't get paid enough. They're not, it's not worth their time. They just don't care. If you get robbed, they don't give a shit. They still got their 8-hour check.
So you think the future of cannabis is going to be mushrooms?
The future of cannabis will definitely include mushrooms.
Wow.
CBD will be better accepted. Cannabis will just be, it won't be so crazy anymore. Like, devil's lettuce and whatever these people call it.
The devil's lettuce.
Like whatever.
That's that old stuff.
Yeah, I deal with some old people. So it's very,
Do you ever consider taking the model samples or do you already do that?
I give a lot of samples. That's how I get a lot of my customers. So I have stacks of brochures with a lot of explanation. Again, you have to educate people.
You do. You always have like a bunch of samples that you're handing out over there when you're at the event. So guys, you ever see her at an event, don't be shy. Say hi. We're almost kind of close. Ed, what do you got?
Let's see.
I wish we had that. We didn't set up. I'm so sorry we didn't set up. We're gonna do better next time.
Yeah.
We will. So with the company, what are your next plans?
What's next for Bluemist CBD?
Other than the retail side, are you thinking? Have you ever thought about sponsorships with like athletes?
Ooh.
I try and sponsor athletes right now. Like I sponsor some like bodybuilders and stuff, but I would love to do NASCAR. So I got an opportunity to sponsor NASCAR, but
that
like,
would be dope.
you know how much the sponsorship for NASCAR is?
How much you have to pay?
Yeah.
How much?
$1 million.
$1 million?
But you get a whole car.
Okay, so they would wrap your car. So for $1 million,
they would take one of the cars and wrap it.
Okay, wait. So for $1 million, I can have creative REI on a NASCAR,
and your banners all over the stadium at a NASCAR event.
I don't even watch NASCAR.
Yeah,
it's a big
huge
industry.
Yeah, I love cars anyways, and I was like, wow, like I can't believe they actually reached out to me. But like, I don't have that kind of,
You do race cars. You do Lolos.
No. Race.
You like racing?
Yeah, I like fast cars.
I used to race in high school, but I didn't have anything like special. It was like MR2 turbos or like Integra LSs type
I mean, that's
stuff.
where we all start, right?
Right. I stopped going through that phase because then all the homies started going into like motorcycles and then some started crashing. I had an uncle that I lost in a motorcycle accident. So it's shunned in my family to nobody owns a motorcycle. Right. I got into an accident in Spain. Like a scooter, like those Vespas, like face plant it was not. So
your family's cursed, basically. Stay the hell off of two-wheelers.
Pretty much. They'd be like, "You want to go to the desert?" And I'm like, "Yes." Do you want to ride the ATV? No.
Quad, please.
Yeah, I'll do the quad. Yeah, 4 wheels, please. Yes. Okay. What else?
Are you like? Are you into the car industry?
Are you in the car? Are you in the car scene? She is in the car scene.
I mean, I go to like meetups and I'll go to like the cruises and stuff like that. Like I'll go and on the cars and coffee, the cars and choppers and stuff. BMW X4M competition.
X4M? Yeah. Oh, competition with the M package?
Yeah.
Ew. Those are nasty.
Yeah, I love
Those are nasty. I'm a car guy, so I like to. Okay. What's your dream car?
Right now, I'm so happy with it. Like I
wouldn't go exotic, like an i8 or something.
I used to like the i8s, but they stopped making them. So
Ed hates the i8s.
I used to like them.
Right?
Not all of them.
Nah, like the newer ones. Like I used to want one. That used to be one of my cars, but
would you go electric?
Nah, it's not real power.
Here's the thing. I thought the same thing about electric cars, but we recently went on one. It was the Plaid. It was like,
oh, the Tesla. This guy had a jet engine.
No, yeah, they're fast. But
it was like 100. It was 1,100 horsepower.
It's like cheating. That's like, what's the fun in that? Like, I like horsepower.
He stopped in the middle of the road, and
we're
we're like, is the car okay? And then,
yeah, like a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah, it was like a jet.
Yeah.
Man, all right, guys. I think that's the time we have. Bluemist CBD infused mushrooms, as well as cannabis. Check out the website.
And CMOS, a little bit of everything.
Where can we find you on social media? You got a social media?
The company ones?
No, I mean, either that or yours. If they want to reach out, maybe somebody wants to do distribution with you, or maybe collaborate, or maybe have you sponsor. Where can they find you?
If you want to have me sponsor, you can reach out to the Bluemist CBD page on Instagram or Lady Boss E page on Instagram.
Lady Boss E. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, tune in next week. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what else you guys want to see. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.